Today's side quest is a little weird because it's an anime game, and it's no secret amongst you guys, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Now, I want to be clear on that. That doesn't mean that I want your suggestions because I haven't found the right anime, and that perhaps if I find the right one to introduce me into the world of anime, then I will become a huge fan of anime. I've tried it, it's not for me, and it's one of the reasons that I did not play this series, although it is a prolific series. This is the Ace Attorney series, Phoenix Wright. Even if you're not into anime, the likelihood is you know about this franchise. It's kind of like the Zelda franchise. Everybody knows about it, it's always 9 out of 10, overwhelmingly popular, and it's finally come to PC. There is a version that was out on PC a long time ago, but this is the Chronicles. This is a collection of all the games that came out for this period, and it's a spin-off of the Phoenix Wright series, set in the past, like in the 1800s, 1900s, which means there's no forensic evidence. So, I'm going to jump in, and interestingly enough, this is going to be the first game I do for side quest that I did not finish. So, here we go. It's not because it was anime. Let's play. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ace Attorney Chronicles, a compilation of several games that has been released on PC this week. And we're taking a look at it because I have been super excited about this series, but never had a DS, never had any of the real consoles in order to play through these games. I was always playing World of Warcraft or something else, and it's one of those things I just kept hearing about. It's like, that game is fantastic. Whenever it got brought up in conversation, it's like, Phoenix Wright, you've got to play it, and I just never got around to it. But now we have the opportunity, and I've dived in and had about 10 hours in this game and have decided to call it a stop, and I'll explain why throughout this critique and introduction. Let me set the scene for you. This one takes place in the past. It's using the ancestors of the main franchise game of Phoenix Wright, and it's before forensic medicine and forensic science has come in. So it's all about the Japanese court and judicial system being very antiquated, and Japan has just signed an agreement with Great Britain, the glorious empire of Great Britain, who are bringing them into the 21st century, or 20th century as it would have been, in order to teach them about things that, like science and all that. And there's a lot of cross-cultural stuff going on. And we're going to be playing a student at the local university, a law student, who has been accused of a crime. So this is about finding clues and trying to prove your innocence, at least in the first couple of cases, while under extreme scrutiny from the higher-ups in Japan, because they really want to maintain a good relationship with Great Britain, and it is a member of Great Britain that has been murdered, and you were there and you were accused of the crime. Now, I'm going to jump into the game here. Welcome to the courtroom, and the dramatic music that's playing. You can see it's very windy in the courtroom. There is a headband flying in the wind to go along with this. We're going to look a little bit at the gameplay, and now, there's not much I can do here to really avoid some spoilers about the case. However, believe me when I say to you, this game has so many twists and turns in the cases that you're not being spoiled for much of anything. I swear to you, I absolutely swear to you, you're not being spoiled for much of anything. The whole game is a massive dramatization. It's like a battle that takes place in the courtroom, and that's where its charm comes from, is the war that's happening and the very dramatic, like, smash of the gavel that you just saw, and we'll go through here. You know, it's got the slaps, it's got people doing crazy things, and the whole thing about it is the absolutely wacky and interesting characters the game has on offer. Every person who's taking part in the case, including the prosecution here, Mr. Ouchie, who's very old school, a woman no less, in the courtroom, is very angry and works his fan like an absolute hero. The females are not permitted to speak. We've got Sasato here who's come in order to ask for some time. So I'm going to skip through dialogue a bit just to kind of show you this dramatic style that the game plays through. It's really fun because because they've done these completely exaggerated, wacky characters who are sweating. There's a guy who's bleeding for some reason. We never really seem to get to the bottom of that, at least in the 10 hours I've played. He's constantly bleeding. We got this guy who brings his katana to the courtroom. His headband is permanently waving like Ryu. It's all about just ridiculous, insane characters, and they make you laugh, and they make you just go, oh, no! How could you do that? And that's where the great appeal of the game has been for me. Like, Case 1, which is essentially the tutorial, is like 7 hours long. That's the one we're in right now. It got so intense towards the end that, you know, it was gripping. It genuinely was gripping. Now, what I'm going to talk about now is that's the setting, and that's the gameplay. I'll show you a little bit of the gameplay here. Once this is done, special characteristics. Okay, we're going to open the court record here. We can do this at any time, and this is our evidence. So what will happen is we'll be able to question witnesses who are, again, wacky, insane characters, and we'll have to try and contradict in cross-examination what they've said. So you really have to pay attention to what they're saying, like, in detail, because it could be anything very minor that they've said that isn't quite accurate. And that's where you're going to be like, wait a minute, that wasn't quite right. So we'll have photographs to go through with a magnifying glass, and we'll have to look at all kinds of things, like the steak on the plate, where was the shot, where was the gunshot, where was the burn marks. And although it's all presented in a very silly fashion, it's not hard to follow. So we've got to maybe check around the business cards that we got left. This is a layout of the restaurant where the murder took place. The murder took here. How many chairs were around it? Where was the other person sat? So there is that level of detective work in here that's really quite good. We might have the wine bottle from the incident that we can do. Now, that's done very simply. We've got WASD allows us to move this little marker, and we have the cursor keys in order to examine different areas of the bottle and other items as well. But what you can see here, and this is kind of where my grievance with the game came up, is it's very easy. As you can see, the cursor changes very distinctly in order to show you where evidence is. So you kind of have this, oh, is there something else on the bottle? And you can kind of like, oh yeah, there's something here, right? So it's not that difficult to find stuff that you're looking for. It does get more tricky than that, but the examination process, certainly when it gets to the part where we can examine rooms where crimes have taken place, I didn't enjoy. I'm going to show you some of that in a second after we go back here. So Satoru has actually been to the university and found us a little bit more evidence that we're going to be able to use. You can see it's all very dramatic right now. There was too little time for her to read through it, but she's done some cliff note for us. We've just got a new piece of evidence, which is Gisele's report. We're going to be able to go through that and trying to figure out, does any of this contradict the characters? Which is where this comes down to. Now, because of the setting of this case, they want this over and done with quickly. Like I say, a member of Great Britain has been killed. They've just signed this treaty. They want to just throw you under the bus as quickly as possible. Now, here's our witnesses. We've got Brett Giselle, who is very, very English, as you can tell. I mean, who doesn't carry a swan on their head in England? I can tell you, I see this every single day. No. Swan attack! It's laying chickens! And the waiter from the restaurant are all witnesses to the crime. Now, we're not prosecuting anybody. We're defending ourselves. And they're very much working against us in order to have that happen. Now, what you're probably noticing is a huge amount of dialogue. This is where, again, it fell down for me. So what I'm going to do now, actually, is skip over to my later save. I hope you have faith in me that the cases get very interesting. But I do think it's important that I talk about why I stopped playing this game, which is over here. So I've already mentioned the sort of browsing through rooms and things like that. I'll show you a little bit of that in a second. But right here, this is something that was introduced in case number 2. And in case number 3, there's another mechanic that comes into it, which is being able to cross-examine the jury in the trial. Now, before the trial takes place, we do have this situation where we now get to explore rooms. Didn't have that in Trial 1. It went straight to the trial. This is where I didn't like it very much because as the cases are very long, like I said, Trial 1 was 6 to 7 hours long. In this one, we've been playing, at this point, at this load, we've been playing for like 3 hours. We're not at the trial yet. I don't like the characters. And there's an enormous amount of dialogue. A huge amount of dialogue. Now, if you like the characters, that's not a problem. If you don't like the characters, this is a play on Sherlock Holmes. It's called Herlock Sholmes because the case is a play on one of the Sherlock Holmes stories. It gets really kind of tedious, which is why I fell down to it because you also know at some points, and you kind of have this in any detective game, you know the solution. There's so much dialogue, it could take you a good 10 to 15 minutes to get to the thing that you realized as a player a long time ago, and you're like, yeah, well, we know this is an issue. Well, here's a cross-examination. Sherlock Holmes, who is a terrible detective in the game, believed this to be a Russian a Russian terrorist, essentially, who's escaping Russia. However, we've cross-examined to find that this Russian terrorist has long, golden, flowing hair. So, obviously, this Russian terrorist is not who they claim to be. You're a woman. Now, in the context of the case, we figured this out, like, 20 minutes ago. And it made it kind of a... Although it's very dramatic and very... You can see the music and stuff like that is going on. It's kind of like get to the point, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is can we get to the point? And you can click through dialogue and speed it up, but you might miss a clue, which is relevant much later. So you do kind of feel like you do need to read all they're saying in order to figure out the answers. Because sometimes the clues that will actually help you later on are in minor details of what you're reading. So you kind of have to read everything, even though you know like a big piece of the puzzle, such as this is not the nasty Russian man. So now you can see now. Here's a great example. Okay, this is a very minor spoiler. There's a newspaper that we found. We are on a Russian ship right now. It's crewed by the Russians, and they had a newspaper. On one piece of paper was about the Russian revolutionary who's gone missing. On the back was about a ballet dancer with long blonde flowing hair and her identity who has gone missing as well, fleeing Russia or whatever. So we know, right, who this is. The long flowing hair, we've already realized it. But now we have to go through the game and all the dialogue. And everyone's kind of being stupid, like we don't know the revelation yet, in order to say, actually, we do know who who this person is. Now, this would be fine ordinarily if it was relatively quick, because we have that in many detective games, where you're like, okay, I kind of know the answer, and you can get there rather quickly. In this, it is delayed. On top of that, the menu I showed you earlier, you can see how much dialogue here. The evidence doesn't fit the facts now. You see, we're still doing this dialogue to try and get to, I know who this is. I would really like to be able to interject. Objecting and things like that is a big part of the game, but it's really sort of baby stepping us through it, which is why I got a little tedious, especially reading all of this stuff. What I showed you earlier with the bottle, where you're just kind of circling around to find evidence in the room. This is how blatant it can kind of be. I feel as though I've read or heard about a young woman in a situation like that recently. Yeah, about 5 minutes ago. We read about this. So, but now we have to kind of like find the evidence. So it's this piece of evidence here about the ballerina. So we're going to present this. Yes! The article about the ballerina shatters the illusion. You can see it's very, very dramatic going through it. Like it doesn't let up on that drama at all. And the one thing that's annoyed me about this, like genuinely really annoyed me, is trial 1 was so much fun. So much fun going through the clues, figuring it out, and then the twists and turns. Like I say, every like minute or so there was another ridiculous twist in the case, which was really cool because we thought, or you as the player would really believe you have the winning piece of evidence. This is the one that's going to blow us out of the water. The game accounts for that massively and tilts it on its head so that you go like, ha, here's the winning thing. And no, it's not. Like by any means. It's not at all. And now we get it. You are Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Boom! Knocks down. Scissors stuck in the hair. You can see how ridiculous it is. And it gets... This is not even the tip of the iceberg of how ridiculous this game is. And fun. It is very enjoyable. Once it gets its teeth going, it's really good. The reveal. Yes. Now we know that if you're impersonating all along, you're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone. And there we can see the evidence has been corrected. This is for our evidence journal. We've solved that little part, but we haven't got to the trial yet. This is all about figuring out what happened in the murder that's taken place in this case. So that's my main gripe with it, is literally the stuff that's not the trial. As simple as that. The stuff that's not the trial is really, really long and just not that interesting. It's very slow paced. And that's what took me out of it. It's like, if it was like 20 minutes, something like that, no problem, okay? 20 minutes, gather our evidence, then let's get to what the game's really about, the trial. The very half... It's not half-baked. It's just too slow in getting us there for what it is. Especially when you are getting repeated information regularly. I mean, I'm kind of clicking through here because we've got some we've got some more stuff to investigate. So I kind of wanted to show you that before we finished up here in terms of the gameplay. The proof of the crime, the traveling case. This traveling case keeps bouncing around, so we're kind of curious as to what's in there. This woman is the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside that traveling case as well, which is our first theory, for some reason, that somebody was inside here. No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all. In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? I can see him going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again. So a lot of the first part of this trial is that Sherlock Holmes is a very prolific written about. He has all the stories written about him, but he's really a dunce. Which made me not like him, honestly. It was just this idea of having these ridiculously stupid theories that don't make any sense, such as there's a woman hidden inside this small luggage case, and then having to go through all this to correct it, really turned me off. So this is the kind of stuff where we're investigating. Like, there you go. The proof of the crime sits here. So it's very obvious, because all we do is we go, oh, well, it's probably this giant tiara. She's probably stole it, right? Right? And it so let the game down. For me, anyway. It personally let the game down for me and made me turn it off, unfortunately. Which is a real shame, because I think if it was just the trials or something very basic before the trials to set the scene, like Case 1 had, it had a little bit of brief, introduced us to the characters. Then we got in there, and then it was all twists and turns, dramatic things, ridiculous things happening non-stop. And I have no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen here. But 2 or 3 hours on your first playthrough of Absorb the Game, of not before you even get there, that's going to be a no from me. Obviously, the game runs perfectly fine. It's a very simple game, but disappointed. Was very excited to get into the Ace Attorney series, and hopefully we're having a good time. Despite my non-fandom of the anime style, I was very into the weird and wacky characters. And you can see they're really trying with Sherlock Holmes to make him this weird and wacky and kind of interesting character. His get-up is crazy. The way he talks is really ridiculous. It's just the actual stuff happening in the game at this point was not worth it. So, unfortunate, guys. Unfortunate. I am actually gutted. I am genuinely gutted. I had an extraordinarily good time with case number 1. Like, I was fully set in for the 50 plus hours that is on board for this game. And then case number 2 absolutely ruined it for me. It may be better on a handheld like it's supposed to be, like on a DS or something, but I don't think so. There's just way too much dialogue for very simple gameplay. And I get that some people like just stuff that, not missing things out. Going back to the old point and clicks where you were like clicking everything on the screen, like Monkey Island or something like that, and maybe missing something costing you hours of time. A simple version of that, I can kind of see the appeal, but you just end up waiting far too long and going through so much dialogue, just waiting for the next part to happen. And if you don't like those characters, that's when it all falls apart. It's a combination of the two. If you like the characters, all that dialogue is fine. They're really fun. But when you don't, it becomes a real chore, just like, can we get to the good bit? And I really missed out on that, which is why I decided to stop playing. Anyway, we're going to move things up a notch tomorrow. We are going into a Dark Souls-like hardcore platforming game. Not Hollow Knight, the next version of that. It's going to be called Grime. So I'm really excited for this. We haven't had something that's been a really high skill check in a while, so I'm looking forward to getting into that. So stay tuned. We'll be jumping into that as soon as possible. Bye, guys. Thank you so much for watching.